Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, people have come to me with discussions of whether or not we should have a traffic diversion program here in Chenango County. There are pros and cons, and about 5 years ago or so, I tried to get one up and running or discuss it, and some people were behind that. Lately, I've been pushed again, and we looked into the issues, and this morning, without being yay or nay, there's nothing that we're asking for this morning from the whole board, but just to listen to what's going on over in Otsego County. For those of you who don't know, traffic diversion programs work for the drivers. It gives them an opportunity to redeem themselves and keep their license clean. Number one. Two, go to another driver safety course, make sure that they're a good member of our community on the road. Two, keep some of the alternatives to the fines locally and help the needs that we have here in Chenango County. And three, we're being good citizens, we're being good community members. And without the mechanics, and I will leave that for the DA from Otsego County, who's right behind me, to come in and give you the overview of how the program works in his county. There's been some reluctance, but now there's been a lot of people who are excited about the possibility of this program coming to Chenango County. Without advocating for or against it, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to District Attorney John Muehl, who came over the hill through the snow without a sleigh to give us this presentation this morning.
Thank you. As Joe said, my name is John Muehl. I'm the DA of Otsego County, and I'll make this as brief as I can. I'll answer any questions that you have of me. But I'm passing out a handout which generally is an overview of the program. And if there's any questions after this, you're all free to call my office. I'll take your phone call, explain to you what the program is. Several years ago, I was approached also to start up this traffic diversion program. There are several counties in the state that have it. Broome has it, Schuyler County, Yates County, Orleans County. Now we do. And at first I didn't really like the idea. I thought it was sort of buying justice. But as the more and more I looked into the program, and the more and more that I tailored this program to what I felt was fair, I'm very happy with it now. We've had it we're going on 2 years in Otsego County, and we get a lot of feedback from drivers. And you'll see that this program is really tailored toward overall good drivers. I mean, there are many offenses that are not eligible for the program, such as texting, no seatbelt for children, speeding in school zones or work zones. They're not eligible. You'll see if you look at it, the people that are eligible are the ones that are really generally good, safe drivers to begin with, that make a mistake, and this program gives them the opportunity to get rid of that. The points, there's no points at the end of it, at the end of the day, and the ticket's dismissed at the end of the day if they do what they're supposed to do. And not only is it cheaper for them, because the way I have it set up, the application fee for the program is cheaper than any fine you can get for a moving violation ticket. And the good news is for the county and the local townships is the money stays here. No money goes to the state. So, and generally what you do is if you're eligible, you have an eligible ticket in Otsego County, you'll make an application to our office. It's a $200 fee. If you're accepted into the program, we notify the court that you're in the program. We notify you that you have 60 days to take the defensive driver course. You can take it online, you can take it in person. It doesn't matter as long as it's a New York State certified program. They take the program, give us proof that they took that course, and we dismiss the ticket. Now they can't do it over and over again. You'll see that there's rules about that also. But it really has been beneficial to the people. We get a lot of positive feedback. At first, some of the judges were skeptical about it, but I'll tell you what, it reduces the workload of these judges and the assistant district attorneys that are dealing with these tickets all the time. Now I have one person in my office that deals with all these eligible tickets. Now the ineligible tickets are still dealt with by the assistant district attorneys and go through the court, where if somebody doesn't complete the program, they go back through the court. But overall, this has probably cut the workload of the justices as well as my assistants when it comes to traffic tickets, 75–80%.
John, can you walk us through a ticket in your county?
If you get one?
Yes.
If you were to receive a ticket in my county, say you got a speeding at a 70 and a 55. You would get online or come into the office, you fill out the application, and you send us the application with a $200 check or money order, along with proof of your insurance, that you had insurance, and proof that you had it. Well, we check your license. So when we get those three, they also send in 2 self-addressed stamped envelopes. We get that. First thing my clerk does is she checks and she makes sure that you're eligible. She'll pull the license up, look at the history, make sure that you haven't had a moving violations within the past 18 months, make sure that it's an eligible offense. If it is eligible, then that day out goes a letter to the driver, the motorist, saying you're accepted into the program. You have 60 days to provide our office with a copy of your completion certificate for a defensive driving course. A letter goes out to the court saying, dear judge, this person's been accepted into the defensive driver program or into the diversion program. Please adjourn the case for 60 days for them to complete. Then when they send us proof that they've completed, we send a letter out to the judge saying they've completed it, please dismiss the ticket, and we send a letter to them saying congratulations, you've completed it, your ticket is being dismissed. And that concludes it. If they fail to take the course that they're required to or give us proof, then we send a letter to the judge saying they failed to do it, please put it back on the calendar. My assistant district attorney will be in to deal with that at the next ADA day, and we send a letter to them saying they're being dismissed from the program. Very few people do that. Most people go through it and do what they're supposed to do and complete the program. And we get a lot of compliments, many cards and thanks and phone calls thanking us for the opportunity to go through the program. Not the least of which, of course, the county board loves it because it brings in a lot of money. Otsego County, we're about $500,000 a year. It's about $500,000 a year. We've got I-88 and we've got Route 20. So we have 2 big speeding corridors, and it accounts for about $250,000 for the county and about $250,000 for the towns. And what's good about a ticket for the town, a speeding ticket for the town, they only get $5 or $10 on it. But here they get the whole $100 every time. So it's been a boon for both. The state hasn't done anything about it yet. I'm just a little bit surprised. But Breward County's been doing it for 6 or 7 years now, and the state has not even made a peep about it. Right. So it's not, for me, it wasn't all about the money. I really think it makes sense. It's a good program for your citizens. And once again, if there's any issues about who you think should be eligible, that can all be dealt with. You can tailor the program to your county. I had the judges come in and I met with them to determine what limits we were going to have. Some judges didn't want over a certain amount of speed, and that's perfectly fine. So you can tailor it to your county. But it's definitely it's something that we can do for our motorists in our county, for the good motorists that only have 1 ticket in their whole life and it gets dismissed.
So Johnny, what's your population in Otsego?
We have 62,000.
We have 50,000 here, so.
But the 88, see, we get a lot of out-of-state people. You can be, any state can be eligible. You don't have to be a resident of Otsego County or even a resident of the state. I mean, anybody can go through the program. Are there any questions?
Yeah, what would be the typical fee or traffic violation cost if you didn't have this to the motor?
When I did, I think if they gave you like the minimum on 1110A was like $235 or something like that. I think it is. So it's at least like a $35 saving. Some counties make.
That's with the reduction, John.
Right, that's with the reduction, right.
You plead out to the speed. If you don't have a lawyer or you're from whatever,
right.
It's I think it's over $400.
Right.
And not only that, but we see very little of that, and we have no real control over where those funds go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
The course. Where do they take the course?
They can take it. What we do is we direct them on our online. We also have a list that we can send
So
them.
it's available online.
If you go to the DMV website, that contains all the courses that are certified for New York. So you can click right on the DMV link and it'll take you to all the courses. We also have a.
So when the person is notified that this is one of their options, are they also notified of where they can go
Yes.
to take the course? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you have to do to implement it in Otsego County?
What I had to do was first I had to really convince the judges that it was a good idea,
Okay.
the local court judges. So I asked them all to please come to the next Magistrates Association meeting. I showed up there. First I sent out a memo to all of them, explained the program, what I wanted to do, and then I met with them and answered any questions that they had, and sort of together we came up with the restrictions so that most everybody was happy. And it was much smoother than I thought it was going to be. And now that it's running, those that have reservations, they don't have them anymore. They're all happy. That as far as I know, all happy with the program.
What is there? I mean, is there a statute or a law that has to be passed locally to do it, or
No.
it's just
The reason we can do it is that because as district attorneys, we can decide whether or not we're going to prosecute something. So we just determine after they've done what they're going to, in the interest of justice, we're not going to prosecute.
So
that.
the authority of the DA's office is the one that establishes that this can await to eliminate.
It's the only way I know that you can do it. Now, you can, some counties make them send in a copy of their driving abstract. We have e-justice, and I'm assuming that the office here does, and so we just check it for them so that they don't have to pay the $5 to get that, and that's just another hoop that they would have to jump through. So we check the licenses ourselves.
So this is uniform across like every court in the towns?
Yes.
It's administered equally?
Yes.
And as far as the fees, you said $100 goes to the town? Is that like half of the application fee?
Half
Is
the
that how that
application
goes?
fee,
And
right.
Half goes to the county?
The one thing that I can tell you though is, you know, we started it and we thought, well, I have an investigator in my office. I said, well, he can do it part-time. I thought, no. I mean, it got to the point where I had to hire somebody full-time to do it because it's a full-time position to do it in Otsego County. Now, I don't know how it would be here with less.
We have 2 towns that have 88 in them.
Yeah, so.
And we have some other towns that have some. Anyone from Oxford? Because they may have a couple tickets down there. So,
But
we've
it's,
got a lot of business.
but what you get is even though you write this as plainly as you can, phone call after phone call, because people just don't understand. So they call and am I doing this right? Do I have to do this? So the phone is ringing a lot for this, and we have one designated person in the office. I hired another legal secretary, and she handles the whole thing, from checking the licenses and.
So would it be fair to say that that additional cost is under $50,000?
Well, yeah. I think whatever her cost, she makes 24, I think.
So, but you have to
Plus her
have
fringes,
benefits,
fringes. So yeah. But definitely, when you look at it, it's still a win-win for everybody.
And have you discussed it with our
I discussed it
justices?
with my committees, yes. But not,
With the justices?
oh no,
With
we, actually the last time we went through, there were some judges that were very vocal. And that's why, to be honest, I had enough fights, I didn't need another one to go through. But there is a lot of, and we'll do that again if that's how we choose to proceed. And that's, where we'll go. But today I wanted him, there's one other thing, who handles the money?
The money comes to our office,
Okay.
all right? And then once a week, we keep a spreadsheet, and once a week, all that money goes to the treasurer's office. And then, once the money goes to the treasurer's office, then we do vouchers that disperses the money to the different towns.
Okay.
And the treasurer writes checks.
Does the DA, okay, the DA has the authority to implement the program. And
Right.
We had some justices who did want to participate. So, okay, they don't participate. Isn't that a problem?
Yeah, that is, because I don't want to be able to say, okay, you got a ticket in Sherburne, so you're eligible, but if you get one in Columbus, you can't.
Did the board, your Otsego County board, did they endorse this from the get-go, or did you just come up with it and gave it to them and they just nodded okay?
Well, there were questions, just like you have, and I went through that with them, and I explained everything that I could. Some of them had concerns, like you may once you read it. Certain people shouldn't be eligible, other people should. We had those discussions and pretty much worked it all over a period, I would say 6 months.
I guess that, you're in trouble, I think, with traffic tickets these days when the superintendent of the state police gets up and gives his annual report. And the first thing he talks about is how much money he made.
Yeah,
And like, are we in the traffic enforcement business or are we in the money business?
I understand.
And it appears to me that maybe the state's in the money business, because every time we get a check for our justices' work, it gets smaller.
Right.
Doesn't get bigger, and the state gets to take more and more of it to support the system.
And the
And
one
like
thing that I was,
that's
oh, I'm sorry.
and like is it? And you seem to believe that this is not only a way for us to get more of that revenue, but at the same time maybe a better way to convince people to follow the law.
And cheaper for them, and less expensive for them to deal with it, and easier for them to deal in dealing with the criminal justice system. They sort of deal this.
It just seems that, like, as a citizen, if your local government is saying, listen, you screwed up, here's the way to fix it. You do this, and we're gonna. You give us the $200. You go through the classes. Pretty much say, I'm not going to do this again. Okay.
Right.
It seemed to me as a local guy, I would be a whole lot more interested in doing that than to go up to a court and hear the justice say, listen, I gotta charge you this much because the state of New York tells me I gotta charge you this much.
Right.
And like, do I feel any better about my local court or the state? No.
Right.
I don't feel better at all.
Dennis, one of the concerns from my perspective, and I don't want to speak for Johnny, those people who are getting these tickets, they're going to be my jurors. When I have them in the box, I don't want them secretly being mad at the state police, the sheriff's department, local town police, because they thought they were treated unfairly. So I think that this is very just for everyone. I'm looking at the whole picture. The superintendent has his own, whatever his issues are, and I don't want to speak against them. But I think that not only is it a good thing for Chenango County, but it's worked in Yates. Broome has only been around a couple of years, but there have been programs out there for, I think, almost 10 years at this point, and they continue. So if we do think of it, we have 12,000 less people. Even on the conservative time, let's say that there was 300,000. My only concern is if we ever go forward, I don't want it to be a burden on the board or the county. It's supposed to be a win-win for everybody. So I don't know how he did it as far as implementing, getting the program up and going before he had the additional funds to pay the people. And tell us, how long did it take you before the revenue came up to the 500,000 a year?
Oh no, that was it was the second year. The first year was almost 400,000, and then this year's over. It's going to be 500,000 or more. It rolls pretty quick. The first couple of months aren't there, but then after that it goes crazy. The defense attorneys didn't like it at all because, hey, we're going to charge, get 3 people all these speeding tickets. I said, well, do the paperwork for them. So they're doing that. But one thing that I do want to mention is, and some people worried about it, and I did not see that because I kept close track. It did not increase the number of tickets written. Some people were worried about, oh, well, the police are going to write more because they know money's going to the counties and the towns. It's not happening, so don't worry about that. I have not seen any of that.
Thanks for coming, I really appreciate taking your time, but if we as a board think this is a really good idea, and Joe's talked about this in committee, and I've heard it, and you know, to me it sounds very reasonable. Would it be proper for this board to take some kind of action to direct Joe to set this program up?
I don't know if you would actually.
Dennis, I promised RC that I would not go there today, and I do not want to be in trouble with the clerk of the board. This is informational. I'll come back, you can make decisions, and I'll do whatever you want. But I definitely told him that would just be informational.
I just have one
Bob's got a question.
Mr. McBride, as far as the town justices that were against this, because I am definitely in favor of this, and I agree with you, Dennis, it's something that should be brought before the whole board, because it needs to come as a whole, saying that we are supportive, so they have an understanding. The constituents of this county that we represent have an understanding of where we are. But what was their negative feedback?
They had a fear that the state of Albany would not give them any grants for their courtrooms or their recording systems and all of the upgrades that they were getting from Albany. Unfortunately, that's never been true. My understanding, all the OCA allocations have never been diminished to any county who's participated in the traffic diversion program. And I think the second part, with all due respect to the judges, I think a lot of people want to be involved, and this kind of removes them from that position. And that's really, that second part is not their call. And this is what I am elected to do, and I'm going to do whatever with the support of the board, whatever we feel is in the best interest of everybody in Chenango County.
I just don't want to see a couple of justices preventing this from being implemented.
And with all due respect to Johnny, they won't.
They won't.
Okay, thank you.
$200 is a lot of money for some people. I mean, to me, this sounds like, yeah, this is a great program for people that have money. But as we know, a lot of people in Chenango County don't have an extra $200. That's their grocery money for 2 weeks.
I understand, but if they had their
And
ticket.
then, say that they do want to do this course, they really want to straighten themselves out, but they don't have that $200. Can they get help someplace to come up with that money so they can take the course?
I don't have any help for them. There's nothing in Otsego County for them to do that. I haven't run into that problem either, because if maybe they don't have the $200, but how are they going to have the $300 for the fine? So, I mean, they're stuck with their ticket. They've got to deal with it, and the judge has a minimum fine that he can set, and the minimum fine that the judge can set is more than that $200. So I don't know how much better we can do for them.
That's true, but I'm also thinking, what if I think I'm innocent, you know?
Oh.
I still want to.
Oh, if you're innocent, then you should go to trial. You should not be in. I only want you put in here is if you're guilty. Don't do this if you're innocent. If you're innocent, you take the ticket to the trial and plead innocent and go through the criminal justice system. That's what you should do. These people are people who say, yes, I know I was speeding, I know I'm caught, I want to just deal with it this way. But yeah, if you, and people have called, well, I'm innocent. I said, well then, don't go through the program. Then you want to go to court. Take it to court, get your trial.
Peter?
Geez, Joe, I was gonna shoot.
Yeah.
Two questions. The justice question. Whose call is it? Is it the town's or the town justice's call to
on what?
participate?
Well, to participate, nobody really. The bottom line is, and
Well,
I'll
there's
I'll be honest with you. If Joe wants to, he can jam down their throat. There's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do about it.
We would never use those terms. We say
Right.
effectuate the program.
I'm trying to be as blunt as I
Tell
can.
Judge Hosmer.
But you don't want to do that because you want to work with these people. You want them to be happy with the program. So that's why I had them involved in the implementation of the program. And I did have their counsel come down from Albany on the night that I met with them. And the counsel made it very clear to them that, you don't have to agree to this because there's nothing you can do if you don't.
Prosecutorial discretion.
Right, and they say, well, we won't dismiss the ticket then, and then it's like, well, okay, you can keep the ticket open forever, but it's not gonna do anybody any good, we're not gonna prosecute it, so there's nothing you can do about it. So, but you don't wanna treat them like that, I didn't wanna treat them like that, I wanted them to feel like they were part of it, and that's why I invited them to help me set up the program, and that, they were happy with it, so that's how we did it.
Question number 2. Or Charlie jumps, so that raising your hand doesn't work. Is it almost exclusively speeding tickets?
No, everything is eligible except a list.
I saw the list.
So, fail to stop at a stoplight is eligible, fail to stop at a stoplight, failure to keep right, all of those tickets are, so it's not just speeding. It's, the majority of the offenses in the vehicle and traffic law are eligible in Otsego County, but nothing involving kids or the cell phone and, school zones, et cetera, like that.
Okay.
Charlie?
I just want to say, Joe, I made president of safety and rules, and I'm 100% in favor of it. But the one thing you haven't mentioned is when you go through the course, your points don't appear on your license. And that's a savings in itself
Right.
on your car insurance. Because
They get the break for the insurance
there's a
plus
savings there.
dismissed.
It's quite a substantial savings. It
Right.
could be.
Say for 18 months or 3 years, depending on your company.
And the ticket's dismissed completely, so
Right.
there's never even anything on your driving record about the ticket.
RC, we okay? Perfect.
Can I-
Thank you. Yes.
I just want to, I'm on traffic and safety, and I won't reveal his name, but the chairman of traffic and safety got a ticket. He had a weak moment doing 80 miles an hour, and he went through this course, and like he said, he hadn't had a ticket in, 15 years, I think?
Right.
So, something like that, that's what it's geared to,
That's what
not the perpetual person that continuously speeds.
And the
So
members of traffic
I
and
support-
safety, we're behind the program and behind moving forward.
And I told Joe, I'm willing to come over and answer any questions that you have again. If you want to have a discussion about this, I'll work with Joe to help him implement it, because I've done it. There's no sense reinventing the wheel. I'll even speak to the justices for him if he wishes, so.
Bob, do you have one last question?
I just wanted, it had to do with procedural, considering referring this to safety and rules for further discussion and development, possibly.
I was going to suggest that Joe bring this back to this committee
Great.
in the new year and start the process that way, and we'll back to the board.
Thank you, Chairman.
And I certainly thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.